Hello, welcome to my home office. I don't know if we are at home for a snow day. It sounds like we're meant to be getting a pretty big snowstorm. And I don't know if you've heard that we have changed things a little bit at CTech. I know up until this point, our snow days were true snow days. But from now on, because of all of the snow days we have, so that we don't have to come to school in the summer, if we have a snow day, you're meant to do your virtual learning. So your due dates for your assignments shouldn't change. You're just meant to do work at home. So keep that in mind if your other teachers have not yet informed you that snow days are now virtual learning days. Let's get into this week's topic, rubrics. Rubrics are incredibly important. They are both a teaching and a learning tool. They tell the students what the teacher expects, and they kind of outline exactly what is needed to be completed to do a specific project. After an assignment is assessed, the student can then look at the rubric to see what they did really well and what they need to do to improve. Maybe next time they do something rubrics similar. Can be used in any subject area, and they can be used on papers, presentations, projects. They're really one of the best ways for you to give instruction to a student and to give feedback.
Rubrics, an assessment tool to save grading time, improve student feedback, and promote student self-learning. What is a rubric? A rubric is a grading tool that lays out the specific expectations for an assignment. For this video, we will focus on analytic rubrics. A rubric resembles a grid and consists of 4 parts. The first part of the rubric is a description of the assignment. It is recommended that you cut and paste the assignment directly from Blackboard for wording consistency. The second part is the performance criteria. Here, the assignment is broken down into individual grading components. The third part of the rubric is the range scale. The scale offers a range of 3 to 5 performance levels. The more levels there are, the harder it is to differentiate between them. Conversely, the more specific the levels are, the less comments you have to make for individual students. The fourth part is the individual descriptions within the grid. These descriptions precisely describe what must be accomplished to achieve this level and give clear guidance as to what is expected. Before you begin creating the actual rubric, consider the course level objectives that your assignment addresses. It is also important to provide the relevance of your assignment. So how do you build a rubric? First, you add a title. Then, the second part of building a rubric consists of the assignment or task. In our assignment, we want students to bake a pie that is delicious and attractive. The second part of a rubric consists of the performance criteria. In this part of the rubric, we are dividing up the assignment into chunks. For the apple pie assignment, the criteria for a delicious pie is good taste, texture, appearance, and following the recipe directions. If you include points or percentages to each component, the student knows the importance or value of each criteria. In the apple pie assignment, for example, since taste and texture are more important than appearance, they have been given a higher weight. The third part of the rubric is the range scale. These labels determine the level. In our example, the scale is exceptional quality, average quality, and poor quality. The fourth part of the rubric is the individual descriptions within the grid. These descriptions describe what must be accomplished to achieve each level. Students can evaluate their own performance by measuring against these descriptions. Begin with the highest expectations, then the lowest expectations, and finally the range in between. Our example looks like this. Now you can go out and create your own. Why would you create a rubric? Rubrics convey timely feedback. Although it takes time up front to create the rubric, using a rubric saves you hours in grading. Once created, you could simply measure your students' work against the criteria and assign a grade. Rubrics make evaluations more objective. Without a rubric, the tendency that we sometimes might have to compare papers and projects to each other is replaced by comparing them to objective criteria. Rubrics bring structure to your grading. Determining the specific criteria to grade can be daunting. Rubrics help you determine exactly what you want to measure and the values that should be assigned. Rubrics provide transparency to the student. The performance criteria outlines exactly what is being graded. There is no guesswork for the students. Students can review the individual description outlines and know exactly what is expected from each range scale. The highest expectations are clearly outlined. The result? Students know exactly what is being assessed and the grade value is assigned to each component prior to the assignment. Rubrics encourage student self-evaluation. Having a clearly defined rubric, students can self-check their own work to gauge their progress. Students can even check each other's work against the rubric prior to submitting assignments. This strengthens comprehension and helps the student improve their grade. In short, students can perform an assignment according to the grade that they wish to earn. Rubrics lessen grade frustrations. Sometimes students will contend that a grade is unfair and want specific reasons why they received the grade they did. Since the performance levels are clearly defined, students can review how their grade was determined. Using Matrix will make your work faster by making your grading more objective. It will help you add structure to your course, and best of all, students will appreciate the transparency.
Now, admittedly, they are challenging to write, and so I thought we could do something a little bit more fun this week. And I'm going to have you all create a rubric on the perfect chocolate chip cookie. So you're going to create a rubric worth 20 points. I'm going to tell you that you're going to have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 point for each criteria, but it's up to you to decide what 5 sets of criteria the cookies are going to be graded on. So I'm going to give you a paper copy. Hopefully we'll be in school Tuesday, so I can give that to you. Or I'm also sharing it on Google Classroom, and so you're going to fill in each box. Again, you pick the criteria. In the past, students have done things like number of chocolate chips, or crunchiness, or softness, or texture, or shape, but that's for you to decide what those 5 sets of criteria are going to be. If you're struggling, please send me an email or a message, and I can help you talk you through maybe some options. Your rubric is going to be due on Friday, and then next week I will bring in a few different types of chocolate chip cookies, and you will use your rubric to grade them. And when you're using your rubric, you may notice some changes you might want to make. Might I suggest eating some chocolate chip cookies prior to completing this assignment so you truly know what you want to look for in the perfect chocolate chip cookie? If something is wrong and you don't like chocolate chip cookies, number one, I'm sorry. But number two, please reach out if you prefer to write a rubric for a different type of cookie or a different type of treat or a different type of food, and we can work through that as well. So in this column here, you're going to be writing what each of the criteria is. This is when I mentioned you might want to put number of chocolate chips or shape. So you're going to come up with 5 different sets of criteria. And then in all of these boxes, you're going to put what a 4 point, 3 point, 2 point, or 1 point cookie might look like. All right, that's all I have for you this week. This Edpuzzle and then your chocolate chip cookie rubric. Make it a great week. Stay warm, and hopefully I'll see you soon.